bringing you a southern perspective on books, movies, music, and much, much more. Stick around for a while, you just might hear something wicked.
Hey friends. So you're probably wondering where I went. Well, I was out for almost a whole week because I completely lost my voice the last time I broadcast. So I'm back with you again today. Might be a little bit scratchy, so that's what was going on. But in the meantime, I got a new thing set up for a new reading screen, so you just might like this. Check this out. And here's what I'm going to be reading to you tonight. This is makeup for Wednesday. And the makeup was the topic of belief. So, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. John 3:16. To him give all the prophets witness, that through his name whosoever believeth in him shall receive remission of sins. Acts 10:43. As it is written, Behold, I lay in Zion a stumbling stone and rock of offense, and whosoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. Romans 9:33. But as many received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, and even to them believe on his name, Jehovah. John 1:12. He that believeth on him is not condemned, but he that believeth not is condemned already, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. John 3:18. He that believeth on the Son hath everlasting life, and he that believeth not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of God abideth on him. John 3:36. Wherefore also it is contained in the Scripture, Behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and that he believeth on him shall not be confounded. 1 Peter 2:6. And they said, Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved in thy house. Acts 16:31. And I am come to a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. John 12:46. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. John 6:35. Jesus said unto him, If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. Mark 9:23. Jesus saith unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen, and yet have believed. John 20:29. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. John 6:47. And that's the Bible book of the Bible Promise book, which goes category by category. And let's see if anybody's in the chat. I don't see anybody. Flow World. So, my next read, what's that going to be? Oh. The Aeneid of Virgil. Let's get into it in our next screen. Video capture. Alright, so the last time we were into this, we read The Landing Near Carthage, which was book 1. And we're starting in on book 2 in this section. And see this up here? You can find all of my archives now in Substack. Okay? So go subscribe there. There's lots of articles there. Let's see. Okay. Book 2. The Fall of Troy. They all were silent, watching. From his couch, Aeneid spoke, a terrible grief echoing. You bid me live again. How Troy went down before the Greeks. Her wealth, her pitiful kingdom. Sorrowful things I saw myself with her in. I had my share and more. Even Ulysses, even his toughest soldiery might grieve at such a story. And the hour is late already. Night is sliding down the sky, and setting stars urge slumber. But if you long to learn our downfall, to hear the final chapter of Troy, no matter how I shrink remembering, and turn away in grief, let me begin it. Broken in war, set back by fate, the leaders of the Greek host, as years went by, contrived, with Pallas's help, a horse as big as a mountain. They wove his sides with planks of fur, pretending this was an offering for their safe return. At least so rumor had it, but inside, they packed in secret into the hollow sides. The fittest warriors, the belly's cavern, huge as it was filled with men in armor. There is an island, Tenedos, well known, rich in the days of Priam. Now it is only a bay and not too good an anchorage for any ship to trust. They sailed there, hid on the deserted shore. We thought they had gone, bound for Mycenae, and Troy was very happy, shaking off grief, throwing the gates wide open. It was a pleasure for a change to go, see the great camp station and shore abandoned. Why, this was where Achilles camped his minions. The Dolopes were here, and the fleet just yonder, and that was the plain where we used to meet in battle. Some of us stared in wonder at the horse, astounded by its vastness. Minerva's gift. Death from the virgin goddess, had we known it. Diomedes. Whether in treachery or because the fates of Troy so ordered, was the first one to urge us to bring it to the heart of the city. But Captus and some others, knowing better, suspicious of Greek plotting, said to throw it into the sea, to burn it up with the fire, to cut it open, see what there was inside it. The wavering crowd could not make up its mind. And at that point, lo, Cohen came running, with a great throng at his heels, down from the hilltop, as fast as ever he could, and before he reached us, cried in alarm, "Are you crazy, wretched people? Do you think they have gone, the foe? Do you think that any gifts of the Greeks lack treachery? Ulysses, what was his reputation? Let me tell you, either the Greeks are hiding in this monster, or it is some trick of war, a spy or engine to come down on the city. Trickery business is hiding in it. Do not trust it, Trojans. Do not believe this horse, whatever it may be. I fear the Greeks, even when bringing presents." With that, he hurled the great spear at the side, with all the strength he had. It fastened, trembling, and the struck wound rang hollow, a moaning sound. He had driven us almost to let the light in, with the point of the steel to probe, to tear, but something got in his way. The gods, our fate, our counsel, ill-omened, in our hearts, or Troy would be standing in Priam's lofty citadel unshaken. Meanwhile, some Trojan shepherds, pulling and hauling, had a young fellow with his hands behind him, tied up, and they were dragging him to Priam. He had let himself be taken so on purpose, to open Troy to the Greeks, a stranger, ready for death or shifty cunning, a cool intriguer. Let come what may, they crowd around to see him, take turns in making fun of him, that captive. Listen and learn Greek trickiness. Learn all their crimes from one. He stopped in the middle, frightened and defenseless. Looked at the Trojan ranks. What lands, what waters can take me now, he cried. There is nothing left for me anymore. No place with the Greeks. And here are the Trojans howling for my blood. Our mood was changed. We pitied him, poor fellow. Sobbing his heart out, we bade him tell his story. His lineage, his news. What can he count on? The captive that he is? His fear had gone as he began. O king, whatever happens. I will tell the truth. Tell all of it, to start with. I own I am a Greek. Sinon is wretched. Fortune has made him so. But she will never make him a liar. You may perhaps have heard rumors of Palamedes, son of Belus, a man of glorious fame. But the Greeks killed him. He was against the war, so they killed him. An innocent man, by perjury and lying, false witness. Now that he is dead, they mourn him. My father, his poor relative, had sent me to soldier in his company. I was then scarcely beyond my boyhood. Palamedes held for some time some influence and standing in royal councils, and we shared his glory. But, and all men know this, Ulysses' hatred, his cunning malice, pulled him down. Thereafter, I lived in darkness, dragging out a lifetime, in sorrow for my innocent lord and anger. And in my anger, I was very foolish. I vowed, if I got home to Argos, I would have vengeance. So I aroused Ulysses to hate me in his turn, and that began it. Downfall and evil. Ulysses always trying to frighten me with hint and accusation, with rumors planted where the crowd would listen. Oh yes, Ulysses knew that what he was doing. He never stopped, with Calchas working hand in glove with him. Why am I telling you this? And what's the use? I am stalling. All the Greeks you think are all alike. What more do you want? Inflict the punishment. That would be something Ulysses would join in, and some others pay handsome money for. But we were all on fire to hear him further. Pelasgian craft meant nothing to our father. Trembling and nervous, he resumed his line. The Greeks were tired of the long war. They often wanted to sail from Troy for home. Oh, would they had only done it. But a storm would cut them off, or the wrong wind terrified them, especially just after the horse was finished. With the joined planks of maple, all the heaven roared loud with storm clouds in suspense and terror. We sent Eurypylus to ask Apollo what could be done. The oracle was gloomy, foreboding. Blood, O Greeks, and slain, and a slain virgin appeased the winds when first you came here. Blood must you pay for your return, a life be given, an Argive life. The word came to our ears with terror in it. Our blood ran cold in our veins. For whom was fate preparing? Who would be the victim of Apollo? Then Ulysses dragged Calchas into our midst with a great uproar, trying his best to make the prophet tell us what the gods wanted. And there were many then who told me what was coming, or kept silent because they saw, and all too well, the scheme Ulysses had in mind. For 10 days, Calchas said nothing at all, hid in his tent, refusing to have a word of his pronounce the sentence. And all the time Ulysses kept on shouting, till Calchas broke, and doomed me to the altar. And all assented what each man had feared. In his own case, he bore with great composure, when turned another way. The terrible day was almost on me. Fillets were ready for my temples, the salted meal prepared, the altar standing, but I fled. I tore myself away from death, I admit it. I hid all night in sedge and muddy water at the edge of the lake, hoping, forever hoping, they might set sail. And now I hope no longer to see my home, my parents, or my children, poor things, whom they will kill because I fled them, whom they will murder for my sacrilege. But oh, by the gods above, by any power that values truth, by any uncorrupted remnant of faith in all the world, have pity on the soul that bears such sorrow, more than I ever deserved. He had no need to ask us, Priam said. Untie him, and we did so, with a promise to spare his life. Our king, with friendly words, addressed him, saying, whoever you are, forget the Greeks from now on. You are ours. But tell me, why they have built this monstrous horse? Who made it? Who thought of it? what is it? War machine? Religious offering? And he instructed, in every trick and artifice, made answer, lifting his hands now free. Eternal fires, inviolable Godhead, be my witness. You altars, you accursed swords, you fillets, which as victim bore, I had the right to break those solemn bonds. I had the right to hate those men who bring whatever they hide into the light and air. I am bound no longer to any country, any laws, but Trojans. Keep to the promise if I tell the truth. If I pay back with interest all the Greek hope since the first war began, rested in Pallas always but Ulysses, the crime contriver, and the son of Tydeus, attacked Minerva's temple, stole her image out of the holy shrine, and slew the guards, and laid their bloody hands upon the goddess. And from that time that the Danaan hopes were broken, faltered, and failed, it was no doubtful anger. Pallas revealed she gave them signs and portents. From her image in the camp, the upraised eyes shot fire, and sweat ran salty down the limbs. Thrust from the ground, she seemed to flash and leap. With vibrant spear and clashing shield, the priest, Calchaeus, made prophecy. They must take to flight over the sea, and Troy could not be taken. Without new omens, they must go to Argos, bring back the goddess again, whom they have taken in curved ships over the sea. And if they have gone, they are bound for home, Mycenae, for new arms, new gods, new soldiers. They will be here again, when least expected. Calchaeus' message warned them, and so they built this image to replace the one they had stolen, a gigantic offering for a tremendous sacrilege. It was Calchaeus again who bade them to build a mast so mighty it almost reached the stars, too big to enter through any gate, or be brought inside the walls. For if your hands should damage it, destruction, may God avert it, would come upon the city. But if your hands helped bring it home, then Asia would be invading Greece, and doom await our children's children. We believed him, we whom neither Diomede, Mede, nor great Achilles had taken, nor 10 years, nor that armada, 1,000 ships of war. But Sinon did it by perjury and guile. Then something else, much greater and more terrible, was forced upon us, troubling our unseen spirits. Laocoon, allotted priest of Neptune, was slaying a great bull besides the altar, when suddenly over the tranquil deep from Tenedos, a shudder even now recalling it, there came a pair of serpents with monstrous coils, breasting the sea and aiming together for the shore. Their heads and shoulders rose over the waves, upright with bloody crests, the rest of them trailing along the water, looping in giant spirals. The foaming sea hissed under their motion, and they reached the land, their burning eyes suffused with blood and fire, their darting tongues licking and hissing mouths. Pale at the sight, we fled. But they went on straight towards Laocoon. And first each serpent seized in its coils his 2 young sons, and fastened the fangs upon those poor bodies. And the priest struggled to help them, weapons in his hand. They seized him, bound him with their mighty coils. Twice round his waist, twice round his neck, they squeezed with scaly pressure, and still towered above him, straining his hands to tear the knots apart, his chaplet stained with blood. And the black poison, he uttered horrible cries, not even human, more like the bellowing of a bull. When wounded, it flees the altar, shaking from the shoulder the ill-aimed axe, and on the pair went gliding to the highest shrine, the citadel of Pallas, and vanished underneath the feet of the goddess in the circle of her shield. The people trembled again. They said, Laocoon deserved it. Having with spear profaned the sacred image, it must be brought to its place. They cried the goddess must be appeased. We broke the walls, exposing the city's battlements, and all were busy helping the work, with rollers underfoot and ropes around the neck. It climbed our walls. The deadly engine, boys and wedded girls, sang alleluias around it, all rejoicing to have a hand on the tow rope. It came nearer, threatening, guiding into the very city. O motherland, O Ilium, home of gods, O walls of Troy. 4 times it stopped, 4 times. The sound of arms came from it, and we pressed on, unheedful, blind to madness, till we set it, ill-omened thing, on the citadel we worshipped. And even when Cassandra gave us warning, we never believed her. So a god had ordered that day, our last, poor wretches, we were happy, garlanding the temple of the gods all through the town, and the sky turned, and darkness came from the ocean, the great shade covering earth and heaven, and the trickery of the Greeks. Sprawling along the walls, the Trojans slumbered, sleep holding their weary limbs, and the Greek armada from the Tenedos under their friendly silence. Of a still moon came surely on, the flagship blazed at the masthead with a sudden signal, and Sinan, guarded by the fates, the hostile will of the gods, swung loose. The bolts of the Greeks came out of the wooden womb. The air received them, the happy captains, Neleus, Ulysses, Physandrus, Acamas, Achilles' son, called Neoptolemus, Thoas, Machaon, Epos, who designed the thing. They all came sliding down the rope, and Menelaus was with them in the storming of a city, buried in sleep and wine. The watch was murdered. The open doors welcomed the rush of comrades. They marshaled the determined ranks for battle. It was the time when the first sleep begins for weary mortals. Heaven's most welcome gift. In sleep before my eyes, I seemed to see Hector, most sorrowful, black and with bloody dust, torn as he had been by Achilles' car. The throng marks on his swollen feet. How changed he was from the great Hector, who came once triumphant in Achilles' spoil, from hurling fire at the Grecian ships, with ragged beard, hair matted with his blood, wherein the winds yearned around the walls of Troy. He stood there, it seemed I spoke at first, O light of Troy, our surest hope. We have long been waiting for you. What shores have kept you from us? Many deaths, much suffering have visited our city.
Sorry.
And we are tired. Why do I see these wings? I will read until this section tonight. And then we'll take a break. Okay. What shame has caused them? Those were foolish questions. He made no answer, but sigh or a groan. And then, alas, O goddess born, take flight. Escape these flames, the enemy has the walls. Troy topples from her lofty height. Enough has been paid out to Priam and to country. Could any hand have saved them, Hector's would have. Troy trusts you. Troy trusts to you her household gods, commending her holy things to you. Take them, companions of destiny, seek walls for them, and a city to be established, and long sea wandering over. From the inner shrine he carried Vesta's chaplets in his own hands, and her undying fire. Meanwhile, the city is all confusion and sorrow. My father and Caius's house, remote and sheltered among its trees, was not so far away, but I could hear the noises, always clearer, the thickening din of war. Breaking from sleep, I climbed to the rooftop, listening and straining. The way a shepherd does on top of a mountain, when a fire goes over the corn, and the winds are roaring, or the rush of a mountain torrent drowns the fields, and the happy crops, and the work of men and oxen, and even drags great trees over. And then I knew the truth indeed, the craft of the Greeks was hidden no longer from my sight. The house of a neighbor, Dephobus, went up in flames next door. Caligian was burning. Stygium's water gave back the glow. Men shouted, and the trumpets blared loud. I grabbed my arms with little purpose. There was no sense in it, but my heart was burning. To mass a band for war, rushed to the hilltop with comrades at my side. Anger and frenzy hurried me on. A decent death in battle is helpful thought sometimes. So, we'll take a break, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright, well, welcome back. Kinda hit the button a little too early. Okay. I was gonna run everyone through where you could find me in different places. So, let me figure out how I was doing this screen share again. Okay. Get this one on. Wrong one. Okay. So, if you go to Telegram, you can find my page over here. This is my page, Wicked Shizuku Reviews. Alright? So, if you just go to Telegram, and you look in there, you will find my channel on here, and this is for my general updates every day. And if I'm not going to be able to make a broadcast, this is where you're going to be able to find that update, and Frost the Alien Cat will bring you the update, as she has the last couple of times I have not felt well. So, pretty much, with Telegram, go all the way to the very top as my pinned message, and as you can see, that's me. That's me. This is just general thoughts, overviews, and whatnot of everything. I tell you a little bit of my story. I give you links to my blog spot. I've been writing for years. I've been out there. And it's just I'm not good at advertising myself. So, there you go. I post stuff that I think is kind of important for people, you know. Let's say one of these is like a series called Crash Course, you know, the legal system basics and whatnot, and I recommend this entire series from Crash Course. It's the political science. I really like this clip of Good Omens from Amazon Originals. It was a Terry Pratchett book that was made into series, which I thought was very amusing. So if you're looking for a series to watch, that's a pretty good one to watch. You'll find random links to book reviews on my old blog spot, other places, and everything. That's Telegram. Okay, so next one is my new Substack. I have just gotten Substack going, and here you'll find my monthly newsletters. I have podcasts in here, which are family friendly. I try to keep those clean in case you're in the car with your kids. Hope you appreciate that. You can now find my archives because I was able to upload my old blogger to the archives of Substack, so everything's there, everything that I've written, going all the way back to some of it 2017 is some of the oldest stuff that's in here. So there's that. And Twitter, you can find me over on Twitter at samlintoll, right here. This is my Twitter feed. I only use Twitter, Telegram, and Twitch. Only three T's. So that's how you can get in touch with me. So let me close those out. Go back to my dashboard there. This. And I'm working on a couple of reviews now that you can expect to be coming up soon. I hope you like those. Working on a poetry chapter book called Mountains and Molehills. It's all poetry. What can you say about it? It's poetry. It's a book of silly poetry. Hoping to have patriotic themes to it. Also, everyday tripe is in it. Just normal haiku, a couple of sonnets here and there. I put a few flash fictions in this. I'm working on this manuscript very hard. I'm pretty much the entire year that I've been sick, this is what I've done. I've been putting together this 220-page manuscript of poetry, and I'm hoping to submit that to some publishing house soon. You can find me on Spotify if you don't want to go to Substack. I've put my the 3 family-friendly podcasts on Spotify. So yeah, so I was making up a few Wednesday reads this episode, and I'm still not saying anything in the chat. So Frank can't. Okay. Can't chat for some reason. Did you subscribe? Okay, I'm not understanding why it's not connecting there. Close the pop out. Well, I don't understand why it's not allowing my chat room to go through. Okay. Alright then. So, how about I give you a little bit of original stuff tonight? I see. Where would that be? Chat settings. First time chat, live chat. It's only chat switched and on. Okay, maybe the chat is going now. Right. Hello world. We'll try that again. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Alright, some original stuff. Alright. Choo choo choo. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's not wanting to work correctly. Okay. Uh-oh. What do I do? Okay. Minimize Telegram. Go to Google Chrome. Okay. Okay, this is some original stuff. I gotta give a shout out to a friend, Betty Davis Oz. This is one of your favorites here. A Ring a Ding Ding by Samantha Thompson. Cheery jingling airs, hurried purchases made, reunions after another year, incoming, not a whisper, secrets kept selectively while tea spilled and macaroons were consumed. Almighty praise, silent as the night, igniting a spark, sending new ripples for hope, for the hope that holy is the name that will give eternal bliss. Layered greed with targeted flash art, leeching his sacrificial meaning. Along comes the harvest. Wondrous floating golden globe, galloping along to spring. Luminous changing sickle lobe, earth ready for carefully planned seedlings. The melting pot split in two. Water my sproutlings. New red fruit grew. Great wide leaves shadowing, hidden tiny blooms. Proud pumpkin blossoms. Sweet smell they can't refuse. Waiting out cloudy subterfuge. Stones sit in silence, overlooking mother's finest. Past, gone fast. Fervent days now gone. Fill agreed hands, spinning fast, never stopping past. The most popular president ever? You lying dog-faced pony soldier, and this isn't hyperbole. I'm gonna get in trouble. What am I doing here? I promise you this. No malarkey. Come on, man. No, Joe. Go. Trailblazer. What the heck? Have you ever heard of Glenn Beck? But he looks like Colonel Sanders. At least he isn't like Maul of Flanders. Slender. Caressed by snowy chilled fingers. Ravaged by time, never tender. Arched and taut, a sliver of memory. Voices hushed by glittery flakes. Entranced with slow weaving freeze. A slap in the face. A man died for thee. Blood drops spill upon the land because freedom isn't free. A brother to me, willing to give a hand. A man died for thee. A father who liked to sit under an oak tree. An hourglass running out of sand because freedom isn't free. The knock came on the knock on the door came at 3:15. The apologies come down from command. A man died for thee. Often lands across the seas, they sent down the demand because freedom isn't free. People cannot see we lost one from our brother's band. A man died for thee because freedom isn't free. Whiskey, Tango, Foxtrot. Native noble sons, jumping at Sarge's whip crack. Brothers, ne'er to come back. Your rest you have won. Ducking behind the wire, scuttling and creeping like a snail. That's the trap, we gotta bail. While the field is under fire. Home again, so wondrous to see something green. A place of plenty and choice. When did home become so loud? The fighting we do must seem obscene. Also, our girls could have a voice. Now we hate to stand in the crowd. The higher-ups. How do the bad ones keep getting away? For more than 40 years, these people have come to our capital, elevated to pedestal positions, never recalling the ones who sent them there and why. The longer they are there, the more their wagging lips lie. Bureaucracy, hell-bent to defy. A speaker that is so unfit, the alphabet soup wrote her into their script. The Department of Justice, running lame, poor Flynn will skyrocket to heroic fame, but he'll never trust Uncle Sam the same. The test shall be, will he remain tame? What ill fortunes to get stuck in yesterday's dream today. Those fancies faded, withered gray. Time plays magnificent tricks. One would forget the wrongs we did. stuck in indecision, sinking fast like quicksand. The tech parade. What happened to the ticker parades for our boys dressed in green and blue, when the pits of their eyes have the same hue? What horrors have they seen and been witness to? When did it all become a secret, and why? What happened to our freedom of press when our framers promised that we wouldn't and shouldn't ever be impressed? Why were they so fascinated? Why did they love nature so? Thoreau shunning man, Poe writing mad, Emerson becoming a particle of God, and Whitman growing into grass. Will the dissatisfaction of nature last? Their lessons forgotten, hard work at all costs avoided, neutered by public health and DHS. Will the world end so tragically? Flames in a mayhem, bricks and bottles, more shattered glass, media giving us a gas, a public turn to servitude as long as technology holds us fast, zombies glued to screens. Who needs the real thing? But who am I? But a whispering glass. It's the news. Apoplectic media gyrating new buzzwords, cycling on their pelotons to maintain their derrieres. Epoch to the right. Fox lost his teeth. Glenn's hair is on fire. Hunter wouldn't know how to change a tire. Ilhan inspires insurrection, leaving liberty in a juxtaposition. Clavin is feeling honky-dory. Leland and Elijah getting chased. Military-industrial complex nudging along OPEC and critical race, punishing our patriots while pseudo-queens demand to run things. Stu, it's great, whatever. Tucker, careful of their underhanded vengeance and vitriol when you ask about our votes. Will Bill Barr prosecute X-rated offenders? You missed yesterday. It might as well have been a year. Zed from MIB just got replaced by a guy named Seb. At least it's better than zooming with Timon. 313. Through a periscope they'll see. Our descendants will look back in history. 31320 is a new day of infamy. Lies tied to laws misapplied. Experts misguide. They aren't on our side. My fears feed my tears. People taking over wearing bandoliers. Where's the Tennessee Volunteers? And so I gave you original work, and you can find those at Substack in the archives. So still trying to figure out the problem with the chat. I'm not sure what is really going on with the sync in the chat. I'm sorry that I can't get to you and chat with you there. I see some are over in my friend's chat room, but I don't want to intrude on what they do. But I hope you were able to enjoy this episode. I brought you a few Wednesday reads. And when we get back to Wednesday, we'll continue with the Bible Promise book and the Aeneid. And I will continue with Songs of the Doomed and middle-aged English literature. So that's what we'll get up to next time on a Wednesday. If I happen to be able to pick up back on Mondays, you remember that it's science and inaugural addresses and a little bit of Ovid and Scottish fairy tales on Mondays. Tuesdays is H.G. Wells and the Book of Brave Deeds, Eothen and some American literature. Thursdays is the Gnostic Bible, An Act of Sophocles, Nomad Love, an article from the Lowell Offering, that's from the Mill Girls in the 1800s when mill houses became a really big booming business for weavers to go get jobs. And on Fridays we will read out of the New Book of Etiquette from 1924 and an act of Shakespeare. So I'll pray for me that my voice keeps getting better. Update on our little kitty. She's making it, but she's not doing very well. So pray for Kitty, and pray that my voice keeps recuperating. And I will see you the next time I get on and do an episode. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening.